everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Grace, and today's video will be all about vision boards. Every year I've done a vision board. Actually, that's not true. A few years ago I started doing this whole vision board every year thing, and every time I post it on Instagram I get quite a lot of comments. And I never really thought about it, but not a lot of people know what a vision board is or how to even go about making one. So since today I decided to work on my own 2020 vision board, I figured it'd be a perfect opportunity to bring you along with me and kind of see how I go about making mine. There's a few different kinds of vision boards. It all depends on what your style is like, what your aesthetic is like, what you're comfortable with doing, how creative you are. But the overall point of the vision board is to just help you kind of clear your mind and get a good idea as to what it is that you're wanting out of your own life in the next year, next 5 years, 10 years, so on and so forth. So it just depends on you. I'm just here to kind of show you what I do with mine, but do not feel pressure to make the same exact thing or have it be perfect or have it look really amazing. None of that really truly matters. The whole point is to just kind of have something that you can see every day, that you can, kind of look at and just remind you of what your goals are for that year or that time period, whichever you decide. So, as you can see, I have one from 2 years ago, made another one from last year. Mine tend to be quite illustrated. I use a lot of inspirational photos from magazines. I like to use a lot of crafty little things that I get at, like a Hobby Lobby store if you have one near you. But I try to make mine as pretty and, girly as possible. But the overall point of it for myself is to just have like certain keywords or certain images that really jump at me to remind me exactly what it is that I'm wanting out of life the next year. So on a personal note, my vision boards tend to be related to that specific year. I do incorporate some elements, goals that I have that are more of a 5-year plan, and typically I utilize or use that particular vision boards every year. That way it's just a constant reminder that is something that I'm wanting to do still. But for the most part, most of it is just on a year-to-year basis. So let's get started. So the first thing I do when it comes to making a vision board is I try to put myself in a very, how do I explain this? Just a very peace, calm, serene type of environment. I like to light up my candles. I like to be near plants and just also like a lot of light. So by a window typically helps me personally. I just want to get into that zone where I'm just, happy, but I'm also reflective and thinking about myself and kind of what it is that I truly want for this next year. Other things that are useful in creating a vision board are getting a few different things from a craft store. I personally like to go to Hobby Lobby, Target, or Michael's. They have some cute stuff that I like, but you really don't need that much, so it's not important, not necessary to go and spend a lot of money on everything. You actually may not even need much at all, other than just like a really nice sized board where you can kind of put all of your ideas and things you want. Definitely a Sharpie or colored markers if you wanted. You could get really fancy, like sometimes I like to get really fancy and just get all kinds of like 3D flowers and things like that, or you can keep it as simple as you want. So it really all depends on you. What I have found that's very important for myself when it comes to vision boards is magazines. So I went around the house and grabbed a whole bunch of magazines that we've accumulated over the last few months. Our family does enjoy reading magazines every now and then, but then I also had to go to the store and get a few more than I needed that I thought I could find something useful for my vision board. So before you get started, with a vision board, it's very important that you spend some time kind of figuring out what it is that you're wanting. And a lot of times for myself, I don't quite know the exact details until I get going on this project, because that's when you kind of start thinking about everything, and that's when it starts coming to you, at least for myself. So what I do is I just kind of think about main areas of my life, and then once I get going on, creating the vision board with like looking at images or writing things down, then they just kind of start flowing, and the ideas, are a little more clear. So the reason why magazines are useful is because you want to look through, certain topics. Like for example, if it's a travel magazine, I like to go through the pictures and try to find maybe images of places that I'm trying to visit, or it doesn't have to be a specific place because maybe you haven't decided yet exactly where you want to go, but maybe you could just, it could symbolize just the idea of travel, period. Other things you could do is not only look for images, but you could also look for letters. So for example, for year 2020, I like to put that on a vision board somehow at all times. Like this one, I wrote it down, but then on this one, I grabbed it out of a magazine and kind of taped it on there. So you want to look for letters, numbers, inspirational images, things like that. That's what I use the magazines for. And then you just pretty much layer it with other things, such as, writing on your own, or, 3D little, what I call tchotchkes that you can just tape on there. And yeah, I mean, once you get going, it really is no limit to it. You'll find yourself, actually kind of impressed with things that you can do once you kind of put yourself in that zone of creativity. So let's get started. So I've got my whiteboard, but I also got this pretty cool animal print board that I think I'm going to use to cut off little pieces and then use it to accentuate my board. Like last year, for example, or 2 years ago, I used a board that was already kind of glittered in gold on the corners so that I didn't have to do it myself. I'm going the lazy way out. This year, I think I'm going to kind of do it on my own. So every year I find myself gravitating towards certain colors or a certain style, and lately, like the last few weeks or so, I've really been into neutrals, to the point where I'm almost even changing my own style and my own fashion sense, I guess. I'm gravitating towards a lot of like simple pieces, so it's all simplicity and neutrals. And so I'm trying to incorporate that same theme onto my board as well. So like even the color scheme is very much like neutral and, soft, muted colors. And the biggest thing I think for myself that has helped me, and you'll probably notice a pattern in my boards, is every year I like to pick a theme of like what it is that I am focusing on. So like for example, I believe last year, the 2018 was all about fashion, and I think I was just in such a business mindset. Like I was determined to launch my fashion company. It was all basically fashion, entrepreneurship, business, that was kind of the theme. Last year, I decided to start incorporating the word that I personally am going to use as my keyword for the year, if that makes any sense. So last year, it was believe. And the reason why is because I felt like I had all these aspirations and dreams of things that I, want to get done in life, not necessarily on a year-to-year basis, but more like a lifetime thing. And so I was thinking that it's very important for myself to believe that everything is possible and not lose sight of that. So when I went to Hobby Lobby, I found this cool little word made out of wood called believe, and I thought that that would be the perfect theme word, like a keyword that I could use as, as the focus of my vision board. And so this year, with everything that's happening, if you're watching this, you are probably quarantined at home, like myself and others, and we are experiencing a horrible virus that's going around and taking lives of a lot of people. And so we're all trying to do better and just be healthier and cleaner and safer. And so it has also changed our life dramatically in the last 2 weeks. I actually can't believe that we're going through this, but because of that, I felt like it was the perfect time for me to get started on a vision board. And it has also changed a lot of my thinking, and it has shifted my focus on what I thought was important before to what truly is important now. So the key word for myself for this year is being thankful, grateful. So I think the word grateful, which I was grateful that I found it because it was very similar to, it must be the same company that I got the Believe word from last year. So I think my key word for this year is going to be on gratitude, being thankful, being appreciative, just, kind of reminding myself that I'm very lucky and blessed to have family and people that, love me and I love, and, being able to, survive this whole thing without necessarily experiencing too much change. So one of the things that I wanted to focus on last year was giving my kids a really cool holiday experience, like specifically Christmas. I grew up and I was born and raised in Albania, where it wasn't necessarily a big thing. It's changing a little bit lately, but because we never really grew up with that whole concept of a Christmas tree and Santa and all those things, I feel like I haven't done a great job at giving my kids that experience. So I made it a point for last year to go all out during the holidays and give my kids that true, Christmas spirit. So I think I've accomplished that. If you look on my Instagram page, I've shared quite a few photos from our holiday season. We went all out on the Christmas tree and the decorations around the house. We were thankful and blessed that we were able to do that. But you will see that on my board, I've kind of separated things by areas and sections. Like we've got the family section right here, and I try to pick words that express exactly what it is that I'm working on. But making memories, doing family dinners, wasn't so great at doing that, so that's probably going to end up on my board this year. Organizing for the new year, prettiest holiday yet. So things that I find important in my life. You don't have to be that specific, like you don't have to get down to exactly what you want to organize, but if you wanted to, you could make it a general thing, like maybe just pick the word organize and put that on your board, or maybe pictures of an organized house might help. So it all depends on you and kind of what would trigger you to remember that these are things that you are going for. So why do we do vision boards? That's one of the questions that people ask often. There's, of course, this isn't like a 100% you do this and you're gonna achieve this type of thing. I like it because I personally enjoy the creativity side of it. I enjoy kind of sitting down and doing crafts and putting things together, and it just gives me happiness. And two, I am a firm believer on the law of attraction. If you haven't heard of it, I highly recommend watching the documentary called The Secret. It's something I watched 8 years ago, and I felt like I applied every day to my life, and I've seen great results from it. But again, it's like mind over matter. So it's, if you believe in it, then maybe it does come true. But if you don't believe in it, then you probably won't. So, but there's no magic to it. It's just the idea basically that if you put it out there, if you put it on paper, if you imagine that you are achieving these things, if your attitude is of someone that can accomplish these things, the confidence and things like that, then that is the energy you're putting out to the world, and the universe will basically reward you with that same thing back. So that is the idea behind the vision board. It's totally up to you how or what you want to do with that information. But even if you don't believe in it, I don't think it's a bad thing to kind of start on it and see what comes out of it. You never know. So let's get started. Okay, so 4 hours later, I think I'm finally finished with my vision board. It does take quite a while to do, but I do think that it's a stress reliever, so I highly recommend it. Try not to do it when your kids are at home, like right now, but that's gonna be probably very hard to do for the next 30 days, considering everything is on lockdown. So yeah, maybe when they're napping, I should have done that, but live and learn. So I'll go ahead and show you guys my vision board. I got between the vlogging and vlogging, I can't keep up. But I'll go ahead and show you my vision board and let me know if you like it. Here you go, guys. This is the final board that I just finished. So to give you a little bit of a background as to why I did it this way and what they signify to me. On this corner, it is all business related. So I put some inspirational images for the new space that we're getting and kind of the vibe that I'm going for. And I am a big believer in women and creating women-owned and operated companies. So I made sure to include that. And we're also working on the new brand starting soon called Ivy Grace, so I included that as well. And I put a little bit on expressing yourself, blogging, because I really think that in 2020 my hope and goal is to get back to blogging and YouTube videos, which I'm doing right now. And yeah, so health and fitness 2020. The big keyword for me this year is being grateful. So that is the main keyword and theme. A sleeve tattoo, which I'm halfway done. Being appreciative, working out, focusing on family, this is more of a, down the road type thing, but I would like to renew my vows with my husband by the beach. Upgrade my ring at some point, new home, kind of redecorating my house, and yeah, this is kind of where my focus is for this year. This is a picture of London because we want to live there for a few weeks this summer if everything goes well, but as of right now it's most likely canceled considering the virus is still spreading. So that's it. That is my vision board right there. If you guys decide to go for it and do one, would love to see it, so tag me or comment so I can take a look. And I hope that this was helpful. I will do a blog post at some point to kind of explain everything that I just did on this video, but in written form, just in case you're more of the type that likes to read. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye.